about this for maybe at the end of the second hour, for maybe like 8 minutes. That is it. That's all we're product limited now, not time limited. I could talk about this all night. So it's product limited. So next we want to talk about vitamin D, which I read some of the clinical studies in Science that talked about how vitamin K2, MK7 is absolutely synergistic. It is the definition of synergy, that they both work and deliver even more benefits to you together. So 1 + 1 is 3 or 4 or 5. And our vitamin D, just like our vitamin K2, and you'll see in a moment with our calcium magnesium intensive care, by far the best pricing ever, which is no small statement, because I've been making vitamin D and offering vitamin D for 40 years. So to think that today, tonight,
come on,
you're getting vitamin D at the lowest price I've ever offered it, a 720 capsule supply. If you want to do the math, most people get vitamins in a 30 or 60 count. A 60 count at that $49.90 price would be about $4.
Right.
A 30 count would be about $2. So you're literally getting 2 years, 24 months of vitamin D3. And again, our 1,000 IU price, that's the price you're seeing. For $49.90, that's what you get, 1,000 IU tonight only of our vitamin D3. But if you decide, you know, I really need 2,000 IU, same price as the 1,000. But if you'd really prefer 3,000 IU and that fits perfectly into your regime, then guess what? It's the same price as the 1,000. So all three, identical price. And what's great about vitamin D3, I mentioned this earlier, a lot of people consume it this way. I consume 4,000 IU per day, and that gets me to my perfect level, between 60 and 70 where I want to be. But you could take, some people take 10,000 IU twice a week. That's what they decide to do. Right. So vitamin D is, some folks, they just can't seem to get benefits from a supplement. Not with my supplement, because if you read the reviews, you'll see people, I've tried everything, my vitamin D won't go up, but I tried yours, and it went up instantly. But a lot of folks, they'll even go to their doctor, and once a month, they might get an injection of 50,000 IU from their doctor and get that once a month. I don't think that's the ideal way to do it if you can find a supplement that's bioavailable and bioactive. And that's what we specialize in, is making our products bioavailable and bioactive. We don't take vitamin D and just trap it in a cheap tablet. The way a lot of companies look at it is they want to make their product as cheap as possible. That's a tablet. You want to make a commodity product, you put it in a tablet. It's going to be hard to swallow. It's going to be hard to digest. It's going to be hard to absorb. It's going to be hard to derive benefits, and why the reviews on this and so many products talk about, they just never worked for me until I tried your product. Because my product, it comes in a small capsule, it's tiny. And that little capsule, it's so tiny it's hard to open.
Look at that.
With my clunky fingers.
Like dust.
But when you, it's just, that's your guarantee that it will go to work, because that, like powdered sugar, dissolves instantly. In dissolution, something going into solution is the key to your being able to absorb it. If that doesn't go into solution, those calcium ions, those magnesium ions, that vitamin D molecule, that can't be absorbed. So it's so critical, we'll talk about CalMag in a moment, it's so critical that these things are delivered in a fashion that understands how our digestive system functions, such that it's going to be absorbed. Otherwise, the only person who benefits from those supplements are the person selling it. The only target I have when I make a product is that molecule getting into your body and delivering its benefits to the tissues that require it. That is all we do when we make a product. That is all we focus on. And we want to make sure that when we do that, the product will not cause an upset stomach, the product will not repeat on you, the product will not be hard to swallow, and our vitamin D is, it's a dream vitamin D product. Like all the products we're talking about tonight, virtually perfectly reviewed. And that doesn't mean that 60, 70% of the reviews are good. That means about 90% of the reviews are 5-star and about 97% are positive. That's a virtually perfectly reviewed product as I define it.
For sure. 4.8 stars, by the way, on a 5-star rating scale. So just to be clear, we are broadcasting live. Andrew Lessman makes the world's finest vitamins. This is the last show on any of our today's specials. We are doing full presentations in this hour, but everything will be abbreviated next hour because we've got a lot to do. So this is your last full airing of our vitamin D at that today's special price. It is such a bargain, and I know the research is compelling, but if you're going to take anybody's vitamin D, it should be his. And to be clear, you can choose the 1,000 IU, 2,000 IU, or 3,000 IU with no price increase on any one of them. So it's whatever works for you based on what your needs are. The whole point is it has never been more affordable, and there has never been a better day. And the research is clear, but I have to say, more importantly, if you're watching this show for the very first time, welcome. Please, it's so funny when people do stop and recognize me, and they always say, what is something I should try from HSN? It is always Andrew's stuff. They're the first words out of my mouth, but it's really true because it's the gift of good health for beyond the holidays.
And it's nice to see a product that you feel a difference, that it makes a difference. And in all our products, as I always say, we have kind of a foot in both courts, sort of. One is we follow the science. The other is we follow Mother Nature's plan, Mother Nature's blueprint. So we make a product that's going to be natural, that's going to be easy and gentle to your body, but we make sure the blueprint from that product follows the science, so you can rely. It's generally science that was what encouraged the creation of the product in the first place. So what just astounds me is when folks end up manufacturing products, or more really selling products, that really violate the terms of the science. And what's fascinating, I say selling products because most of the products you'll see on store shelves, in a supermarket, in the big box discount stores, most vitamins that Americans buy are not made by the company that sells them. They're just made by these anonymous contract manufacturers that basically take these bids and make products for these big box retailers or these big brands, whatever it might be. We make everything here. This is not a set. We didn't borrow a vitamin factory to do this. That 40 years ago, I realized the only way I could make the quality products that you would enjoy, that I would enjoy, is if I did it myself. I had no options out in the marketplace. I would have loved if there was someone I could trust to make a quality product, but I was stuck doing it for myself. And so, because I was stuck doing it for myself, you now have the benefits of this remarkable vitamin manufacturing facility that I moved and uprooted my life and came to Nevada because low humidity makes my products 100% pure. And I know you appreciate that because I'd say half the reviews I read talk about the purity of our products, that we recognize that we get vitamins at random stores and they have colors and binders and fillers and lubricants and flowing agents and all sorts of crazy chemicals that have nothing to do with our health. The ingredients that we want are the ingredients that we know play a specific role. Now we're talking about vitamin D3, and as I said before, I'm the guy who's been talking about the importance of vitamin D3 for 40 years. I've been offering it affordably for 40 years, and today is the least expensive vitamin D I've ever offered. We've had vitamin D probably at about 8 or 9 cents a capsule, not about 6 cents a capsule. So what can you get for a nickel today? You can't get a piece of gum. So, I mean, even if if a coffee's a couple of dollars, you're probably talking about a month, not probably, you're talking about a month of vitamin D3 at whatever potency you choose, even 3,000 IU, a month of that for $2 for a cup of coffee. So we have now entered the realm with these today's specials we're talking about today of just being crazy affordable for products that aren't some compromised junior version of what I do normally. This is the same incredible vitamin D3 that I've always had, that's highly bioavailable, that will not upset your stomach, that's in a small, easy to swallow capsule, that is instantly soluble and available. It's that same wonderful product at just a remarkable, remarkable savings, but only until midnight. And we would have already been sold out, and we're probably running through what few capsules we have remaining to make, but it's an opportunity to save on what is arguably, we're talking about vitamin D and vitamin K2, MK7. If we added vitamin B12, those would be the 3 vitamins that are the most difficult to get from our diet or impossible to get from our diet, certainly vitamin K2 and vitamin D, but are incredibly, critically important to our long-term health and vitality and longevity.
Absolutely, and mind-blowing flex pay in addition to the savings. Right. Do you know on that 360 count size, you're looking at a little over $7. With our extended holiday return policy, we'll do that delivery direct. And I know it's a statement that Andrew and Adam and we've been making throughout the day. You could conceivably, especially on that flex pay, that 6 flex pay, get all of the 5 Today specials that we're doing for less than you would spend for the regular HSN pricing on any one of them. So today is the day to say yes to your good health. I mean, no kidding. And obviously the savings are great, but it's what this does for your body. And whether you have tested those vitamin D levels or you haven't, you should, you see a measurable difference. And certainly we're talking about calcium in just a few moments, but Andrew, it was you who really made me have that light bulb moment with this. Vitamin D, you think, okay, bone health, but it's actually critical for good health, period.
There are things I'd love to talk about, but we don't want to cross the line here.
Right.
But I was the one who, almost 20 years ago, I would say, started saying that every doctor should know and every patient should know their vitamin D level. That has sort of come to pass. So a lot of things that I've talked about, and that for those of you who've used my products for a while, that you've benefited from, vitamin D is one of those things. If you look at almost every measure of long-term health, there's a vitamin D study that talks about if you move through life with healthy vitamin D levels, you're on the good side of all those health risks as you proceed through life. So if you're looking at something that's just sort of a good health and wellness insurance policy, it's overall health and wellness insurance policy, it's having a healthy vitamin D level. And as I said earlier, usually when you get to make a strong statement about health and wellness in general, usually when you make that kind of statement, you're talking about an ingredient that's going to be really expensive because it can play such a global beneficial role in your wellness, in your health. But when it comes to vitamin D, notwithstanding how beneficial it is, notwithstanding all of the incredible science and research, and we're talking about thousands of clinical studies here, it's the least expensive product I think I offer. It's, despite it still being in the highest quality capsules in the world, tablets are cheap to make, capsules are expensive to fill, but the highest quality capsule in the world, it's still barely a nickel a dose, and you choose the potency. So if there's one vitamin I would supplement a day, it's going to be a close call between vitamin D and vitamin K2, MK7, B12, but if there was just going to be one, I'd probably say vitamin D, only because you get so much bang for your buck. And it's not even a buck, because if we're talking about $1, we're talking about probably 20 days worth. So talk about getting a lot of value for $1. So I hope you choose, I hope you already have, and you've watched me before and already have chosen to embrace vitamin D3. And make sure, working with your doctor, that you have vitamin D3 levels, because the benefits are just, in terms of our global health, in terms of our long-term health, are just too good to pass up, and it's so affordable that it's almost just about for anyone. I think most of us could probably afford, say, a 3,000 IU at a nickel a day. Most of us, even if we took that every other day, most of us could probably afford 2 cents a day. That won't mess with our budget. So if you took a 3,000 IU every other day, that's like getting 1,500 IU a day. That's going to cost you about 2 or 3 cents a day. I think all of us could afford that. That's about 50 or 60 cents a month. So that's how important this is. Of course, it's better to take it on a daily basis, but even that little bit will make a profound difference.
Absolutely. And the fact that you can choose it in the potency of choice, 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000, without any price increase, today and today only, and for this show only. Remember, this is your last full airing of the vitamin D. It's your last show for today's specials. Remember, we'll be talking about calcium in a moment, but just so you realize, this offer is only valid now until 12 midnight. So whether that's the 60, 180, or the 360 or the 720, that 720 count size, it's a little over $7 on flex pay with our extended holiday return policy. It's really hard to say no to this. And, you know, I think as we all move through life, we all give thanks for the gift of good health, and this is the way that you give thanks to yourself or to somebody else that you love and care about. Yes, for your bone health, but it's all the other ramifications of living a healthy life at the lowest price in history. Hopefully you do it while we have your capsule or your count size of choice, because remember, we would only have all these if it weren't for Andrew, because he is the manufacturer, and that's why you're able to do some little miracles.
On our little Today specials like today, we would have, I don't know what the counter was on the screen on vitamin D or K2, but we would have ended those Today Specials at about half the quantity.
True.
But because we're the manufacturer, and what we do, we have the ability to turn an incredible amount of product in a few days, so that in most cases, we on, say, Sunday or Monday, we'll be finishing up our encapsulation. We'll be bottling on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll ship the product to HSN by Thursday.
Wow.
It's in HSN's hands the following Monday, getting shipped to you subsequently. So even though the product doesn't exist today, because we make it, in all likelihood, you'll probably have the product in a couple of weeks at most.
I know. It's so funny. You've made the statement that quite often the vitamins that you're getting now could be fresher than the produce that you have at your grocery store, depending on where you are.
No, I mean, I would say personally that the vitamins we get, that we make, are fresher than produce and things that we're getting at the grocery store. Absolutely. And because that's, when we do a Today Special, a lot of companies, their sales are things that are being cleared out, they're changing formulas, they're, whatever it might be, it's old stuff. With us, our Today Specials are specifically created, like the 120 micrograms of vitamin K2 MK7. We specifically create the product for the Today Special. As I said earlier today, if you spoke to me 2 weeks ago, vitamin D wasn't planned as a Today Special yet. 2 weeks ago, probably even a week ago, it wasn't planned yet. If you spoke to me 6 weeks ago, our vitamin K2 MK7 wasn't made yet. The CalMag wasn't made yet. So we make all of these products specifically. We have a very tight schedule, but we make it specifically for the event. And what December was all about, it was taking a hard, like New Year's resolution, we take a hard look at the year that preceded us, and I said, okay, where are my mistakes? What are the products that I'm getting the most criticism or commentary for not focusing on as a Today Special? Top of the list was vitamin K2, vitamin D, also our Ultimate Women's Wellness. It's been a decade. Our prostate support for men, and our calcium magnesium intensive care. So there are the 5.
Absolutely. In fact, speaking of calcium, it's what you've probably been told you should be taking that people love to complain about, right?
Well,
I mean,
and calcium, it's one of those things that it's very easy